So again, thank you so much for coming out. I know some of you are coming from a long way, and I really appreciate it. Like New York City and Trenton, so we definitely appreciate all of you coming out. So before we start, I want to thank our sponsors. First is Juice Tank and McCain and Zion, and all the other guys. You guys, there's sponsors. Oh, Monty, I didn't see you, man. You guys helped sponsor the space and the venue, so it's really, really good for our meetup and having everyone come here. My company just had to put it out there. We got the pizza and the drinks, so you guys should eat all the pizza and get drunk on the beer. And Rackspace, just last week, they announced that they're going to host our virtual world. So the virtual world is the guys back there, Sean, Rick, sorry, I'm not sorry. Yeah, Ryan, I know it was taking me a while to get that from my brain. So, and then I also want to thank the guys in the back from Senator Kane's place. I definitely wanted to thank you guys for coming out and coming and supporting us again all the way from Trenton. Okay, they're ready, but we'll just give me like 5 minutes. Cool. So. The other thing is, if everyone can sign up for the discussion site, that's where a lot of the development and discussion is actually happening. We're doing a lot of we're getting really involved and really interested in different parts of this project. There are really technical discussions and also equally non-technical discussions, and so I would encourage everyone to join it. And then we also have a GitHub as well, but the discussion site is where the interface of the entire project, so we're trying to keep it very, very simple. First, I want to give updates from all the core team. Out in University of Washington, we had our team called Elcano. If you guys were here last time, you'll remember it. They're launching a rocket hub, and they're selected by Popular Science magazine to be the project. Their whole thing is to do the open source self-driving vehicle kit for smaller vehicles, not so much cars. So the vehicles if you didn't see last time, there was a whole blog post and you can watch the video. And then the virtual worlds team, again, Ryan, I got your name this time, Rick and Sean, they're back there if you can raise your hand. Talk to them about this project if you're interested in the AI, the software development, or any of the software aspects of this business. That's really who's managing it and developing it out. As we said, they're going to be hosting this on Rackspace. So far, they've gotten the AI server to be independent from the rest of it, and that's been really helpful, so you can write in whatever you want to. But more importantly, it's allowing people to take the software, download it, and all the assets, and work on it. But where we need help is on creating simulated sensors, since this is a sensor talk. And the other thing is in getting the more physics in the engines. But Sean put up a lot of issues on GitHub, so definitely take a look and you'll be able to understand where we need help. So let's get into the sensor network, because that's really what we're here for. Where we need to go for the next goal is to get ourselves in a position so we can kickstart this project. The big thing is, and from the past 2 talks, a lot of this stuff is exceptionally expensive, and it's not going to be easy for an open source community to just come in here and do everything for free. Now, we are getting a lot of stuff sponsored. We did talk to a major car company and a major telco to help sponsor certain things, and they're willing to do it given we can show them progress. But to show progress, we also have to pay some money. And so by July 31st, what we really want to do is finalize a name and logo. We're talking about this on the discussion site, so more discussion, the more conflict, the better we can get a result out of it. We also want to finalize what sensors we're buying, right? So Jason talked a lot about the LiDAR and the radar being very expensive, but then there's like cheaper ones like cameras and stereoscopic cameras that can be a little cheaper, and Mobileye showed that they can make everything in a really small, with a camera and a chip, and they raised $400 million for it, right? So we can do something and give it a similar approach, because our problem is much more constrained. We're worried about the highway, not every little thing like the pedestrian and the streetlights and stoplights. So for major examples of like Kickstarters that we're trying to emulate or try to use are the Open ROV, which is an underwater robot for exploration. These guys raised way more money than they actually needed. I think they were trying to raise 25,000, ended up raising 100,000. The reason this is cool is because you don't really get a robot at the end of it. You kind of you're trying to support a exploration project and a science project, and that was what's exceptionally valuable for us because we can learn a lot of the tricks that they did to develop a Kickstarter. And then plus pool. I'm not sure if any of you heard of this, but what they're trying to do is put a pool in the middle of East River so people can swim, and simultaneously it'll filter water going in and out of the pool. And so what ends up happening is now you're filtering the East River while also enjoying it, right? And they did it in 2 phases. They did phase 1, which is just a proof of concept and understanding of the project, and then they did phase 2, which was a much bigger proof of concept. And the first phase was developing the filters and figuring out what people needed. Phase 2 was actually getting a proof of concept up, and both times there were way more. I think the first time they were trying to raise 20, they raised 50. The second time they were trying to raise 250, and then raised over $300,000. So this is a highly civic project. It's definitely going to do, but we want to do things in tranches as well, like have phase 1 and 2, where we do phase 1 the proof of concept of what we want to do in phase 2 to be like a do-it-yourself kit. I mean, a lot of states are legislating this, and actually this is what's happening in New Jersey. Senator McCain is working on NJ Senate Bill 2898, which is to help legislate the self-driving vehicle. And so I think that we may be able to be helpful there in some capacity to help understand what a self-driving vehicle is and how to define it, because states and the government are really struggling, or they have a awareness, but it's getting tricky, because even for developers and technical people, it's hard to determine what AI is, right? Because that leads everything from HAL to what's in your microwave, right? So we need a better definition. So that was the gist of my talk, to give an update. Really where we need help and people to come help out is the non-technical side of things is marketing, government relations, and working with sponsors. We've gotten a lot of good sponsors. That's what I am good at. And then the technical side is helping the virtual world and the sensor world and trying to figure out what sensors to buy, how to incorporate that, and then the software on that. So if you have any trouble, come speak to me, and then I can forward you the right people. Thank you. And of course,